Hello, fellow metalheads. As promised, this part two, or my tape collection that I got in the mail. No, I didn't. I bought these. No, yep. I sought them out and I hunted them down and I conquered them like a Norseman on parade. I don't know. Anyways, here we go. Up first, I have this on CD. I have it on vinyl. I have it on cassette. It's a great album. Georgia Satellites, and this has got Keep Your Hands to Yourself. I dig it. I think I paid, it was a couple of bucks. I think $2 or something like that. Can't go wrong. Georgia Satellites. Thought it was pretty cool. So I grabbed it. The next one, Pete Townsend, White Cry. I know nothing about this album. I've never listened to it. I bought it because it was $1 and I like The Who a lot. So I picked this one up. Then it was $1. Did I say that already? Okay. I mentioned that, I know. This dude I bought because I dig George Thorogood. And that's this one. I don't know how many. I got another one there, and I think I got two over, and I have a closet over there that's full of cassettes. But this one has, what's it got on it? Gear Jammer, which is a good song. Willie and the Hand Jive. I Drink Alone. And that's it. That you guys probably know. Unless you're a George Thorogood fan, and then you would know What a Price, Long Gone, Dixie Fried, Crawlin' King Snake, Memphis, Tennessee, Women with the Blues, Let's Go, 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 and Maverick. Yeah. George Thorogood. I've got a lot of George Thorogood. I really dig George Thorogood. He played here in the city, not last year? Last year, I think. And I didn't get out to see him. I guess he was, I don't know if he was struggling. Like, you can tell he's getting a little older. I think he only played for an hour. And I think the party lifestyle, I think maybe it might have caught up to him or something. I don't know. But yeah. All right. So now all these cassettes I got from the same seller. If you lived in St. Catharines, you'd know Thorold. So Thorold is like, it's the big mecca where all the Italian people live. It's kind of like Little Italy. Well, it's Thorold, the big metropolitan of Thorold. And the guy lived in Thorold on the closer to Welland, as if I remember correctly. Anyways, he had a bunch of stuff. He said he sold all his black metal and death metal stuff. I didn't see any of that, but I saw a lot of this stuff. So I picked up Rat, Dancing Undercover. Of course, I have it on CD and album, but it's just one of these things when you're a collector, you're like, why not? Like, there's, at some point, I mean, $5 versus $30 for a brand new CD that you might listen to once or twice. This is tried and true. This is heavy metal that you know, that you love. And as a collector, you collect it. This is how it is. It's hard to explain, but you just do. You just collect it. I just ran into I ran over, or I read, or I came by, probably that would be better. Came by a post from Dwayne. And I have him on Facebook and talk to him periodically. And he had a post, if I remember correctly, and he was basically talking about, I think he's kind of in a similar situation that I'm in. Like, you get to a point where you have everything you really want. There's a space issue. Where am I going to put all this stuff? Am I buying it just because I'm buying it, like the Rat? Am I buying it just because I'm buying it and I'm collecting it? Or is it something that I really super want? Or so I read that post and it made a lot of sense. I've actually thought maybe over the last year and a half about selling everything and just keeping a core amount of stuff. Like I would keep all my Rush, all my Metallica and my Megadeth, and um, all my Priest and Maiden. That core stuff that I grew up with. A lot of the death metal stuff I love, but do I need all of the Cannibal Corpse stuff? Probably not. Do I listen to it on a regular basis? No, I don't. When I feel like listening to a Cannibal Corpse song or album, I go on Spotify. Because normally when I feel like that, I'm either cutting the lawn or I'm sitting upstairs relaxing after work, having a coffee. So I feel like listening to some music. I don't necessarily come into the music room. I'll just sit in my armchair and put my earbuds in. And so do I need all that stuff? Do I need bands like Cut Up that are out of like Vomitory? They're the guys from Vomitory. Now Vomitory's back together and Cut Up's done, and or do I want to keep my stuff like Styx and all my classic rock and just kind of streamline? I don't know. These are just things that rock around in my brain that maybe in the coming days you'll see my last video and it'll be get in contact with me because I'm selling off everything. I'll do a spreadsheet and price everything out, and if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, then I'll just keep it, or I don't know. Anyways, so on with the show. McQueen Street, and this one has the song Heaven, in Heaven, which is kind of like another ballady kind of rocker, kind of, back in the day, the guys like back in the 80s and that. And this one came out in, can't remember when this one came out. 91. So it's on the tail end. It was on the just out of the 80s. They might have formed in probably 89 or something like that. I don't know what number album this is. I don't even know if they ever put out another album after this. I don't know much of this band other than that song, In Heaven, which I thought was pretty cool. 100% Guardian. If they would have kept going in this style, they would have been even bigger than what they were. This style, this is Enigma Records. This was like when Striper was coming out, and this has got I'll Never Leave You, Mystery Man, Living for a Promise, Miracle, Saints Battalion, Kingdom of Rock. If I remember correctly, I think this is their first album or second album. I can't remember. But this is their first album because it's still with the original vocalist. What's his name? Paul Kelly, the original vocalist. No, this is their second album. No, the first album. I don't know. It's an album from Guardian. All right, we'll just go there. I'm sure somebody, Scott, will let me know what album this is. I can't remember. But I'm pretty sure I have it on CD as well. And they have another one called Kingdom of the something or other, which is like, I think demos and stuff like that, if I remember correctly. I haven't played them in a long time. This one, I think, is the second album with the new singer, Jamie Rowe. He's from a band called Tempest. And this one is called Miracle Mile. I was never a huge Guardian fan, although the song The Rain is probably my favorite. They came into that, I don't know if it was more like a doo-woppy kind of glammy metal kind of thing. It just wasn't my bag. But anyways, this album, I have their first album, and I think this was their second, a band called Demals. This one's called Warped. This one came out in 1990. Basically, that's when music took a dump. There's some bands that came out in the 90s that were really good. But for the most part, like the whole grunge movement hit, think that's when metal just kind of got sidetracked. I mean, a lot of the metal bands, they started putting out grungy metal glam band albums, and it was just, come on, like, if you're gonna do a metal record, put a metal record out, compete with these guys, don't cave to them. There was a lot of good bands, like Motley Crue survived, Rat survived. I mean, some of the 90s, they were lean years for metal bands. Metallica certainly survived, Megadeth and Slayer, they all survived. But a lot of these bands like McQueen Street, Dolls, or Demals, Dangerous Toys, bands like that, they kind of just petered off. This band, I wish this band would have stayed the way they were, but they went kind of, I don't know. I haven't investigated them too terribly much, the new stuff. I think Scott says that he loves these guys. This album's really good. I have this on vinyl as well. And this is one's got Me Against the World on it. Lord of the Flies, Voyeur, I'm Watching You, A Den of Thieves, Visual Lies. I like I love their Murderous Metal Roadshow album. American, what was the album before that? Menace to Society, not American, but Menace to Society. That's a really good album. The one with Red Rum on it, Love You to Pieces, that was really good. But Deal with the Devil, Terror Vision, I don't know too much. I kind of lost track of that band. It's kind of like Machine Head. After a certain album, it all got repetitive, and I just lost kind of interest in them. And a lot of other new bands came out. I picked this one up because it's got two of my favorite Kingdom Come songs on it. After Forever and Shout It Out. Those two songs are just freaking rockers. They could be back-to-back songs because they kind of sound similar. But they're just a great German heavy rock and roll album. I remember my best friend Chris, he had this on CD. He freaking loved these guys. I think the song that made them was either I Am the Idiot or Sweet Suicide. I can't remember. But that's a band called I, Napoleon. Another one and done kind of deal. I don't think they put out anything after this. Or if they did, they faded to obscurity, kind of like Kick Tracy, that kind of glammy kind of rock and roll kind of stuff. Gee, where have we seen this one? Had to get it. Twisted Sister, You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. And this one came out on Atlantic Recordings, 1983. I doubt very much that this is a original. I'm not sure. It could be. It's just a blank inner card with the whole... But I'm not sure. I mean, let me know in the comments if you know this. Again, I love this era Twisted Sister. My favorite era Twisted Sister. I have Under the Blade. This one. I don't have this one on vinyl. I want this one on vinyl. I haven't got this one on vinyl. I have Under the Blade on vinyl. I have this one. I think it's called Killer Cuts on vinyl. And I have Stay Hungry, obviously, on vinyl. Stay Hungry on vinyl is because it was dirt cheap. I think I paid $2 for it. I'm not a huge fan of this band because I haven't really investigated a lot. But this one has an awesome... It's got a typical stadium anthem song on it. All We Are. And that is Warlock. And this one is called Triumph and Agony. This one came out in 87. The drummer for Girls' School. No, Brittany Fox. Yeah, Brittany Fox. He drums for her solo stuff now, Doro. Um, but I don't have anything from this band, and so I grabbed this because it has that song "All We Are" on it. I mean, it's the first song, first side. Like, what a way to start a friggin' album. Then I saw this one. Great, it's a cool name for a band. The album cover or the album title is stupid. Silent Rage, Don't Touch Me There. Okay. And it's a picture of his abdomen. Like, give me a break. Like, but that's typical of the 80s right there. Although this one came out in 89. So yeah, it's typical of the 80s. Um I had heard of these guys. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what that's like. Because I like buying stuff that, like, everybody's got Rat, everybody's got Motley Crue, everybody's got Poison, everybody's got Twisted Sister. What else have I got? All the Nova. But I mean, how many people really have the River Dogs or Silent Rage or Demals? Or so I like buying stuff that I don't. It's not run of the mill, I guess you could say. Um, Canada's own Lee Aaron. First two albums, Metal Queen and Lee Aaron. Lee Aaron. Um, what's that song? Night Riders. What is that song? Under Your Spell. Lonely for Your Love. Like Texas Outlaw. I Like My Rock Hard. That was, I think that's her first album. And then, of course, Metal Queen, which everybody knows. And that Metal Queen, best song. Lady of the Darkest Night, great song. Um, Deceiver, Steal Away Your Love, Hold Out, Breakdown, Shake It Up, Gotta Be the One, Head Above Water. Like, that Metal Queen album is just friggin' awesome. Like, I hunted high and low for that sucker without paying a pretty penny for it. But it's sad that I think the next album after this one, she kind of went, and then she got really poppy. What You Want to Do to My Body and stuff like that. Like, it was just really cheesy. I know the story I heard was she didn't want to be a metal singer. I guess she's a huge jazz fan, and she wanted to be a jazz singer. So that was just the entry point, I guess, to be a metal singer. I don't know. I don't know the whole story. Could be even completely wrong. But yeah, Lee Aaron, a double twin pack. And last but not least, now these guys are Canadian. To me, they're like Rush, they're like Saga, they're like Triumph. They're all into the, like, if you know those bands, you're going to know this band. And that's Helix. They were outshined by their contemporaries from the States. These guys should have been way bigger than what they really were. Running Wild in the 21st Century, like, come on. As far as I'm concerned, that's better than half the crap that Motley Crue put out. And like Rat's a different story. Like, Rat's probably one of my favorite 80s era bands that were that style. I love Rat. They had some heavy songs, like lack of communication. Listen to the guitar riff on that thing, and then you'll know. If you really sit down and listen to a Rat album, they're a heavy band. Yeah, their lyrical content's all about women, wine, women, and song, but their music it's heavy. Even some of the Dawkins stuff. His voice was really soft, I found. But George Lynch's an incredible guitar player. Warren DeMartini, incredible guitar player. And I know a lot of the thrash bands, like Gary Holt, a lot of those guitar players, they really secretly kind of looked at those guys and went, dang, these guys are good. And kind of tried to emulate those guys as well. Although they probably never would admit it because it's cock rock and, they're posers and blah, 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 whatever. But Helix, back for another taste. I got a few Helix cassettes. Some of their stuff isn't, They're earlier heavy metal records like No Rest for the Wicked. What's that one? My aunt bought it for me for Christmas. I have 2 copies, and one I found at the local record shop, and it was signed by a bunch of guys. I think the drummer Greg Fritz Hines, Daryl Gray, the bass player. There was 2 other guys too, and I can't make the signatures out. I don't know if it was Brian Volmir or who. I don't know who. Paul Hackman. I don't know, but yeah, Helix. To me, they're Canadian royalty. They've been around as long as, I mean, they came out in the 70s. Their early stuff, I think that band, they've been around for a long time. So, anyways, yeah, Helix. That was my last cassette. There you go. I've got nothing. I got nothing left in me. I'm done. I'm spent. Can't even go on a rant. So anyways, hope you enjoy the video. Put in the comments whether you like it or not. We can get into a big rip snorting fight. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't care. You like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. That's whatever. I had one guy say watching my videos is like watching paint dry. Well, I'm going to tell you, paint can be kind of fun when you watch it dry, especially if you're stoned. No, I'm just kidding. Don't go there. Anyways, you guys take care, and I will talk to you next video. Cheers.